Готово.
Mhm. So guys, welcome to our live session. Today, we're going to focus on listening and reading. And actually today we have started the second stage. So I would like to welcome all of you. Okay, so we are into IELTS Expert Stage 2, and it's a very important part. And I would like to share some things which would be crucial for your preparation. So remember, guys, when it comes to the stage 2, we'll be focusing more on revising certain skills. So let me just share some key points which would be important to understand the stage 2 better. So let me just refresh the browser a bit. So guys, when it comes to stage 2, it involves revising question types from previous lessons to strengthen understanding. Exam practice tasks are central focus, preparing students for the challenges ahead. Overall, stage 2 can be challenging. So I need to warn you all that stage 2 can be a bit challenging because we're going to focus more on exam practice tasks. We are not going to focus too much on the basics. So it's very important now to understand, to remember the steps that we should implement when we have to deal with a particular question type. Now, this is the same both for listening and for reading. But first, let's start with reading. Now, when it comes to IELTS reading, doesn't matter whether you're taking academic IELTS or general IELTS, it's crucial to revise the main types of questions, because when it comes to reading, we have matching headings, true, false, not given, and multiple choice questions. So these question types are the core. And then you'll have, for example, completing a summary. You'll have to kind of deal with classification questions. So it's crucial to be very thorough with matching headings, true, false, not given, and multiple choice questions. So with matching headings, I hope you remember the steps that you need to implement. So would really appreciate if you could revise the materials we have on the platform. So remember, guys, when it comes to matching headings, you need to read the first and the last sentence of each paragraph. This will give you a general idea of what the paragraph is about and help you assume what the heading might look like. In step 2, reviewing the headings, go through the list of headings provided and choose one that closely matches your assumption from step 1. Underline keywords in the selected headings if there are multiple suitable options. Step 3, confirmation through keywords. Return to the paragraph and look for words or phrases that could be synonyms or closely related to the underlined keywords in the selected heading. Confirming the presence of these keywords will validate your choice. So to keep it short, what I want to say here is that you need to read the first and the last sentence of a paragraph and try to understand what the paragraph is about. And based on your assumption, go through the headings, choose the heading which could be the most appropriate. And once you make that choice, pay attention to keywords of the heading, and then go through the paragraph and see if you can find anything in the middle of paragraph. So guys, here we have the Hollywood film industry, the Hollywood film industry. Now, as you can see, we have 8 headings. Now, as you know, technically it's impossible to have the whole passage and it's not going to be legible. So now, guys, I want you to read the first and the last sentence, make a choice, choose the heading which could be the best option, and to confirm, look for keywords in the middle of the paragraph. So can you read the first and the last sentence, right? And then try to choose the correct heading. To make it more convenient for you all, let me just share this. So read the underline sentences to get a general idea. Now, it says, the first sentence, this chapter examines the golden age of the Hollywood film studio system and explores how a particular kind of filmmaking developed during the period in US film history. The last sentence, which I've underlined, it says, it might in fact be intriguing to examine which changes occurred during the growth of the Hollywood studio and compare those changes to contemporary struggles in which production companies are trying to define and control emerging industries such as online film and interactive television. Now, the last sentence has more input here. It says, it might in fact be intriguing to examine which changes occurred during the growth of the Hollywood studio and compare those changes to contemporary struggles in which production companies are trying to define and control emerging industries such as online film and interactive television. So what is the correct answer here, guys? Which heading is correct? Now, let me give a small hint. It's about examining the golden age of the Hollywood era. So what heading will be suitable? Okay, fine. I think you guys are kind of a bit wondering. So the correct heading is the value of studying Hollywood's golden age. Why? Look, it says, this chapter examines the golden age of the Hollywood film studio system and explores how a particular kind of filmmaking developed during the period of US film history, right? It might in fact be intriguing to examine which changes occurred during the growth of the Hollywood studio and compare those changes to contemporary struggles in which production companies are trying to define and control emerging industries, such as online film and interactive television. So the value of studying Hollywood golden age. And if you look at the last sentence, it says, it might in fact be intriguing to examine which changes occurred during the growth of the Hollywood studio and compare those changes to contemporary struggles in which production companies are trying to define and control emerging industries such as online film and interactive television. So it clearly states that, guys. So the correct answer is fourth one. The fourth one is the correct one. Fine. Now, let's move on to the next one. So I'm going to give you guys some time. The last word is costumes. If you can't see that word, if it's covered by the screen. So guys, can you read the first and the last sentence? Think about what the heading could be, and then choose one of the headings. Make a choice. Choose a heading. Pay attention to keywords of that heading and see if you can find more information in the middle of the paragraph. Simple as that. So I'm going to give you guys like a couple of minutes, let's say 2 to 3 minutes for this particular task. Let's do it. So I have actually kind of shown that we don't have to focus on the fourth heading because we've already chosen it. So I have cut the fourth heading, but don't pay attention to that. First, read the first and the last sentence. I have highlighted it for you. I've underlined it for you just to get an idea. The last sentence gives some hint. It says the camera now had to be encased in a big, clumsy, unmovable, soundproof box. In addition, actors struggle having to direct their speech to awkwardly hidden microphones in huge plants, telephones, or even costumes. So, because the shift of the industry away from silent films began during the last 1920s. So it's a shift. That means from one thing, they're moving towards progress. So well done. It's the second heading. The movie industry adapts to innovation. The movie industry adapts to innovation. Well done. Why? Look, it says, this kind of filmmaking requires for new camera equipment, new projection facilities, made the studios hesitant to invest. And first, in the end, the power of cinematic sound to both move audience and enhance. So you see, once you make the choice, you will see more points to support it, more points to support it. So it is the second heading. Well done. So I think you guys got the point. Let's do C now. Let's do C. I've underlined the first and the last sentence. Based on that, make a choice and then pay attention to the keywords of your choice and then confirm it. Confirm your choice. Confirm your choice, please. Now, sometimes the first sentence might not give a clear picture, but the last sentence would always confirm, you see, because it becomes more specific. The last sentence, guys. Together, these 8 companies operated as a mature oligopoly, essentially running the entire market. And the first sentence says vertical integration is the other key component in the rise of the Hollywood studio system. And in the middle, as you can see, the major studios realized they could increase their profits by handling each stage of film's live production, distribution, right? And also, like it says, in addition, these studios set the exact terms of film's release date and patterns. These studios set the exact terms. So these keywords confirm, well done. It's actually the 7th heading. It is the 7th heading, gaining control of the industry, gaining control of the industry. Well done. Very good. So you kind of pay attention to keywords and gradually you can look for more points in the middle, like I did. Now let's do D. Now let's do D. So let me just look, D says during the golden age, the studios were remarkably consistent and stable enterprises, due in large part to long-term management heads, the infamous movie moguls who ruled their kingdoms with iron fist. So during the golden age, the studios were remarkably consistent and stable enterprises, due in large part to long-term management heads, the infamous movie moguls who ruled their kingdoms with iron fist. Some have compared the Hollywood studio system to a factory, and it is useful to remember the studios were out to make money first and art second. So what it is talking about? The movie moguls, how they were controlling. So what could be the correct heading for this? Is it number one, the power within each studio? Number three, contrast between cinema and other media of the time? The fifth one, or the sixth one? Now, if someone says number one, the power within each studio, the power. Now, if you look each studio, look at the names, MGM, Warner Bros., Columbia, the same men ran their studios for decades. The rise of the studio system also hinges on the treatment of stars who were constructed and exploited to suit the studio image. Actors were bound up in 7-year contracts and so on. So actually, it is number one, the power within each studio. It shows how much power they had. They can, for example, contract the actors for 7 years. They had huge influence about their roles, right? So the power within each studio, the power within each studio. Well done. Very good. So it is number one. Now let's move on to E. Let's move on to E. It says, on the other hand, studios also had to cultivate flexibility in addition to consistent factory output. And the last sentence, 20th Century Fox forged the musical and a great deal of prestige biographies, while Universal specialized in class horror movies. Forged the musical and a great deal of prestige biographies, while Universal specialized in classic horror movies. So, which one is the correct heading? So definitely it's the fifth one, distinguishing themselves from the rest of the market, right? Themselves, trying to stand out. Look, MGM put out a lot of all-star productions, while Paramount excelled in comedy, and Warner Bros. Developed a reputation for gritty social realism, right? So that means they all wanted to distinguish themselves. They wanted to stand out. They wanted to look unique. So that's why we have to go with number 5. So do you see, guys? It comes with practice, but do not try to read the whole paragraph and then try to choose the heading. It will never work. It will confuse you. First, based on the first and the last sentence, try to make a choice and then confirm it. It will work better. So let's do F and finish it. Look, it says, in 1948, struggling independent movie producers and exhibitors finally triumphed in their battle against the big studios' monopolistic behavior. Hence, 1930 and 1948 are generally considered bookends to Hollywood's golden age. So something affected them, something hit them, what it is, and which heading would be suitable. Okay. So we're looking for a heading that would be suitable here. So it should be a no-brainer. Well done. It's number 6, a double attack on film studios' power. A double attack on film studios' power. Right. So sorry, guys. It's actually number 6. It's not. So actually, as you can see, I've underlined 6. But if I'm showing 7, it's a typo. But the correct answer is a double attack on film studio power. A double attack on film studio power. So it's 6, 6-1. It's the 6th heading. Yes, well done. So let's move on to true, false, not given now. Now, you see, you first will have to match headings with the paragraphs. And then the next task would be true, false, not given. True, false, not given. So, this is how the instruction would look like. Do the following statements agree with the information given in reading passage? True if the statement agrees with the information. False if the statement contradicts the information. Not given if there is no information on this. If there is no information on this. Okay? So, guys, I know that maybe the text is too much, the paragraph. I hope it's legible. Look at the statement. Don't go and read the whole paragraph. It says, after the jazz singer came out, other studios immediately began making movies with synchronized sound. After the jazz singer came out, other studios immediately began making movies with synchronized sound. Immediately, that's the key word. After the jazz singer came out, other studios immediately began making movies with synchronized sound. So can you scan for jazz singer? And can you say whether this statement is true, false, or maybe there is no information? Now, you need to think whether this is true or false. After the jazz singer came out, other studios immediately began making movies with synchronized sound. Well done. Well done. So, guys, look what it says. Look what it says. Okay, it says the jazz singer was the first to feature synchronized speech, and with it came a period of turmoil for the industry. Studios now had proof, that talkie films would make them money, but the financial investment this kind of filmmaking would require, from new camera equipment to new projection facilities, made the studios hesitant to invest at first. Now look at the keyword, immediately began making movies with synchronized sound. No, they were hesitant at first. So actually it's false. Well done. So it is false. It is false. So I think it's pretty clear. Guys, can you do B for me now? Can you do B? It says, there were some drawbacks in recording movie actors' voices in the early 1930s. Now, please don't read the whole paragraph. Read from 1930. Look, there were some drawbacks to recording movie actors' voices in the early 1930s. There were some drawbacks. There were issues. There were challenges. do you think, guys? There were some drawbacks to recording movie actors' voices in the early 1930s. So if you look at it, look, it says, by 1930, it would take somewhat longer for them to regain their stylistic elegance and dexterity. The camera now had to be encased in a big, clumsy, unmovable, soundproof box. In addition, actors struggled having a to direct their speech to awkwardly hidden microphones in huge plants, telephones, or even costumes. As you can see, it says, like actors struggled having to direct their speech to awkwardly hidden microphones. So there were some drawbacks, you see. So this situation creates some discomfort. So actually it is true. Well done, very good. It is true. Let's move on to D now. There was intense competition. There was intense competition between actors for contracts with the leading studios. There was intense competition. There was intense competition between actors for contracts with the leading studios. There was intense competition between actors for contracts with the leading studios. Now, the thing is, the keywords are very important here. There was intense competition between actors for contracts with the leading studios. Do you find such information here? Actually, guys, the answer here is not given. You can't find such information here. So it is not given. So you don't have to kill your brain. It's not given. Well done. Very good. Well done. Very good. I see some of you all are answering, and I'm really pleased. So that I'm pretty sure if you're able to cope with this kind of task, you'll be able to achieve a band 8, 7.5 minimum if you can perform like this. Well done. Very good. Look at number 4. Studios had total control studios had total control over how their actors were perceived by the public. Studios had total control over how their actors were perceived by the public. That means studios had full control of the actors' way of being shown to the media. Is it true, false, or not given? Should not take much time now. It is pretty easy. Well done. It's true. It's true. It's true. Absolutely. Right. It says studio bosses could also force bad roles on actors and manipulate every single detail of stars' images with their mammoth in-house publicity departments. In-house publicity departments. So definitely it is true. It is true. Well done. Very good. Well done. Very good. So now, guys, let me move on to classification questions. You must have done it in stage 1. So let's refresh it, but with a different topic. So I'm going to kind of show you. It would look like the following. Now, I'm just focusing on the question itself. It says complete each sentence with the correct ending A to F below. Okay, so write correct letter A to F in the boxes 27 to 30 on your answer sheet. Look at the statements. Okay, in the 1970s, Leslie Rogers discovered that, or Angelo Bisazza's experiments revealed that, or Maggot and Brown studies show that, right? So 30, the name looks a bit difficult to pronounce. Research findings suggest that. Now, A, B, C, D, E, F, as you can see, there are 6 statements. So first, read each and every statement to understand it better. Lateralization is more common in some species than in others. It benefits a population if some members have a different lateralization than the majority. C, lateralization helps animals do two things at the same time. D, lateralization is not confined to human beings. The greater an animal's lateralization, the better it is at problem solving. Strong lateralization may sometimes put groups of animals in danger. So, although I'm reading it out, it's very important at the exam to read every statement carefully before you focus on the text. So once you do that, look here, guys. I know the font is very small, but don't worry. When I move to the next slide, you will have a paragraph for every statement. So you just need to read the paragraph. It's going to be easier. But I have a question for you. I just want you all to scan. Now look at 27. It says, in the 1970s, Leslie Rogers discovered that. In the 1970s, Leslie Rogers discovered that. Now, to understand which statement is correct, can you tell me which paragraph should you read? Look, it says in the 1970s, Leslie Rogers. So you need to scan for the name Leslie Rogers, 1970s. So can you tell me in which paragraph we can find this information? Is it paragraph A, paragraph B, or paragraph C? In the 1970s, Leslie Rogers discovered that. Is it paragraph A, paragraph B, or paragraph C? Where can you find 1970 and Leslie Rogers, guys? Well done. Well done. Very good. It's B. It's B. It's a no-brainer. So you just read B and see what is true, which statement is true. So in the 1970s, Leslie Rogers discovered that. So can you read about 1970s and Leslie Rogers and see which statement is true? A, B, C, D, E, F. You need to choose the statement. Read a bit further then. If you can't find, read like the first three sentences above as well. I'm just saying like what should be the approach? Let me give you a hint. For many years, it was assumed that lateralization was a uniquely human trait, but this notion rapidly fell apart as researchers started uncovering evidence of lateralization in all sorts of animals. For example, in the 1970s, Leslie Rogers, now at the University of New England in Australia, was studying memory and learning in chicks. So look, for many years, it was assumed that lateralization was a uniquely human trait, but this notion rapidly fell apart as researchers started uncovering evidence of lateralization. First, it was thought it was unique only for humans, but then because of Leslie Rogers, this theory became wrong. So based on that, what is the answer? Is it A, lateralization is more common in some species than in others? Is it B, it benefits a population if some members have a different lateralization than the majority? Or is it C, lateralization helps animals to do two things in the same time? Or is it D, lateralization is not confined to human beings? Or is it E, the greater an animal's lateralization, the better it is at problem solving? Or is it F, strong lateralization may sometimes put groups of animals in danger? Now, based on what you read, is it A, B, C, D, E, F? So guys, it's a no-brainer. It's D, right? Look, for many years, it was assumed that lateralization was a uniquely human trait, but this notion rapidly fell apart as researchers started uncovering evidence of lateralization in all sorts of animals. For example, in the 1970s, Leslie Rogers, now at the University of New England in Australia, was studying memory and learning in chicks. She had been injecting chemical into chicks' brains to stop them learning how to spot grains of food among distracting pebbles. So basically, guys, it's actually D. It's D, right? Because, lateralization is not only common for humans, but also it is common among animals. Now, let's move on to, so I'm going to kind of, cut D because we don't have to bother much with that. Now, let's move on to number 28. Angelo Bisaza experiments reveal. So I just scanned for Angelo and I found it in paragraph E. So can you quickly read paragraph E and choose the correct step? It says Angelo Bisaza's experiments revealed that. So can you quickly read and choose the correct statement? So it should not be that difficult for you all, I guess. I think it's easier than matching headings, guys. Assigning different jobs to different brain halves may be specially advantageous for animals such as birds or fish whose eyes are placed on the sides of their heads. This enables them to process input from each side separately with different tasks in mind. Well done. So it is C. Right? So it's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer. So it is C. So the answer for 28, question number 28 is C. Question number 28 is C. Well done, a no-brainer. Now, can you do the next one? So for example, it says Maggot and Brown. So I have to scan, then I found it in paragraph F. So that's why I have kind of, shown paragraph F. So I think scanning should not be an issue for you all because, during the sessions, we cannot do that. But can you guys now tell me which is true here? Now here the topic is about whether you're a lefty or a righty. We have this ambidextrous is a person who can use both hands, for example. They're equally balanced. It's about that topic. I think already it should be clear for you all. So what's the correct statement here? Now, you don't have to bother with C and D. You're left with A, B, E, F. So just focus on those 4 statements. It'll be easier. Well done. Well done. I already see the answer coming. And definitely, it is E. It is E. It's a no-brainer, right? Look, it says, the results showed that the parrots with the strongest food preferences work out the puzzle far more quickly than their ambidextrous peers, right? So the correct the statement here is E. It's E. So we have to underline E. So the correct option here is E. So it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Now let's move on to the 30th one. It's about Galanda research findings suggest that, what do they say? Further puzzle is, why are there always a few exceptions like left-handed humans who are wired? It's a very tricky one, I must say, but if you guys can get it, it would be right. It would be great, actually, if you can get it right. Well done. Very good. Very good. I already see the answer. So it's actually B. It's actually B, right? It says that further puzzle is, why are there always a few exceptions like left-handed humans who are wired differently from the majority of the population, right? And well done. So these have shown that a group of fish is likely to survive a shark attack with the fewest casualties if the majority turn together in one direction, while a very small proportion of the group escape in the direction of the predator is not expecting, right? So when we have this situation, so guys, when you read academic passages, they are quite interesting, they are challenging, but also, it can really give you a lot of knowledge. So you do need to kind of, look into those things when you're doing exam practice tasks. By the way, I must tell you that it's very important to do practice tasks based on Cambridge IELTS practice test. Not long ago, I was just browsing and I came across a vlog and I saw some exam practice tasks. And I thought, yes, why not? We can even use it. But then it was even mentioned it was from Cambridge IELTS practice test 18. But it wasn't. And believe me, they don't follow the guidelines. So someone just copy pasted those practice tasks. They kind of want to attract the audience there to get more traffic, but they are misleading. So you should not fall for it, because it will only frustrate you, confuse you, and it will not help make the overall preparation effective. So we should also keep that in mind. So now, guys, we're going to focus on completing a summary task. I must say the text is going to be small. It is going to be challenging. I have to admit that, but I can't help you here. I want you all to complete the statements based on the text given here. It is going to be a bit challenging, but we'll go one by one. Now, for example, mistakes when applying for a job. Now, this is from general reading. So we usually combine both academic and generals. It's fine. And also, these tasks would anyway make you more confident. So it's fine. So look at this statement. The statement is at the end. Look at number 15. At the end, guys, you see, look at the task. It says choose one word only from the text for each answer. Write your answer in boxes 15 to 20 on your answer sheet. Look at number 15. It says it is a mistake to specify your in past positions. It is a mistake to specify your in past positions. Look, there are many mistakes that people make when writing their resume or completing a job application. Here are some of the most common and most serious. So the biggest problem is perhaps listing the duties for which you were responsible in the past position. So It is a mistake to specify your duties in past positions. Well done. Very good. Well done. Lovely. Then let's move on further. So guys, first predict the missing word. Look at number 16. Do not include a description of your in life. Do not include a description of your in life. Read further. Read further, read further. Is it do not include a description of your in life, in life. Well done. Very good. Very good. Objective, objective, objective. Writing what you are trying to achieve in life, your objective is a waste of space, is a waste of space. So do not include a description of your objective in life. Well done. Include soft skills such as an ability to successfully. Include soft skills such as an ability to successfully. Include soft skills such as an ability to successfully. An ability to what? Read further now. Read further, guys. It's in the same order. Well done. So include soft skills such as an ability to negotiate successfully. Negotiate successfully. Lovely. Well done. So I think you guys are quite familiar with this task and you guys don't find it very challenging. So that's wonderful. That is really wonderful. Now, let's move on to the next one. Think hard about the position so you can ensure that the information in your application is. Think hard about the position so you can ensure that the information in your application is, the missing word is, it's an adjective. Well done. Very good. Well done. Very good. Lovely. 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 Okay. Now let's move on to number 19. Make the between your abilities and the job you are applying for clear. Make the between your abilities and the job you're applying for clear. I feel like the whole sentence is a bit incomplete here, but fine. But make the between your abilities and the job you're applying for. What? Make the. So try to, I would say, combine or what it is here. So make the, a tricky one, guys, but it's make the connection. Make the connection between your abilities and the job you're applying for. Okay, well done. Number 20, do not be too about what you can do. Do not be too about what you can do. Do not be. No, it's a summary. It's a summary. That's why it's a bit tricky. So do not be too modest. Well done. Well done. Very good. Do not be too modest about what you can do. So do not be too modest about what you can do. So well done, guys. Overall, almost all of you performed really well. So you should be very happy. That means reading, you guys have made significant progress. Listening, we'll see how it goes. Writing, remember on the platform, you need to kind of, complete the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th lesson and start writing essays. And if you make progress, we will anyway ask you to write more. And even if you don't make progress, we'll ask you to write more. But it's very important to write those essays, like the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th, to understand your progress. So now let's move on to listening now. Okay, so today we're going to focus on section 1. You have already done it, but today we're going to revise it as well. So look, it says write no more than one word and or a number. Write no more than one word or a number for each answer. For each answer. So hostel accommodation in Darwin, name, price per person, comments and reviews. Example, top-end backpackers, $19. Parking available, staff are, nice pool, air conditioning is 2. Now, as you can see, staff are what? Maybe they are friendly, unfriendly, maybe they are hospitable, right? So it's actually an adjective is missing. Air conditioning is 2 what, right? Then Gumtree Lodge, we have the price missing here. Good quiet location, pool and garden in the dormitories, something in the dormitories. So then the Kangaroo Lodge, we can see the price, downtown location, reception at the lodge is always open, no lockers in the rooms, they are very clean, seems to be every night. So let's try to kind of work on this now, guys, okay? So I'm pretty sure it will be very clear. So let me just refresh and I hope you guys can see it. If you guys are stuck, try to kind of, refresh the browser, and then, you'll be able to see. Fine. So guys, predict the missing words before you listen. And then while you listen, try to kind of, write down your answers. So let's do the following. First, I will play the audio file, write down, then I'll give you some time. Please type and share it with me. Please type and share it with me, okay? So I'm going to switch off my camera just to make sure that the connection is stable, and then we will start. Okay, here we go, guys. Okay, here we go. I'm going to play the audio.
You will hear a telephone conversation between 2 friends called Julie and Nick about cheap accommodation in the city of Darwin, Australia. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 6.
So as you can see, they always give you 20 seconds.
Sorry, have you managed to find any information about accommodation in Darwin?
Hi, I was just going to call you. I found some on the internet. There are quite a few hostels for backpackers there. The first possibility I found was a hostel called Top End Backpackers.
Okay.
It's pretty cheap. You can get a bed in a dormitory for $19 per person. Private rooms cost a bit more, but we'll be okay in dormitories, won't we?
Sure.
So that hostel has parking, though that doesn't really matter to us, as we'll be using public transport.
Yeah. Are there any reviews on the website from people who have been there?
Well, yes. They aren't all that good, though. Some people said they didn't like the staff. They had an unfriendly attitude.
That's quite unusual in a hostel. Usually all the staff are really welcoming.
That's what I thought. People said they liked the pool and the fact that the rooms had air conditioning. But the problem with that was that it was very noisy, so they were kept awake. But it was too hot if they turned it off, so they had to put up with it.
Someone told me there's another hostel called Gumtree something.
Gumtree Lodge. It costs a bit more, $45 a person.
What?
Oh, no, that's for private rooms. It's $23.50 for the dorms.
That's more like it.
It looks to be in quite a good location. A bit out of town and quiet, but with good transport and quite near a beach.
Has it got a pool?
Yes, and its own gardens. The reviews for that one are mostly okay, except for one person who said they couldn't sleep because there were insects flying around in the dormitories.
Not for me then. And I'd rather be somewhere central, really.
Right. There's a place called Kangaroo Lodge. They've got dorms at $22, and it's downtown, near all the restaurants and clubs and everything. So that should suit you. And it doesn't close at night.
So there's always someone on reception? That sounds good.
The only criticism I saw was that the rooms were a bit messy and untidy because people just left their clothes and stuff all over the beds and the floor.
Hostels usually have lockers in the bedrooms where you can leave your stuff.
Yeah, they do usually, but apparently they don't here. Still, hostels are never particularly tidy places, so that doesn't bother me. And the same person said that the standard of cleanliness was pretty good, and especially the bathrooms. They were excellent as far as that went.
Right. Yeah, I reckon Kangaroo Lodge sounds the best.
Me too. Quite a lot of people reviewing it said it was really fun there. Like every night, everyone staying there got together and ended up having a party. So it sounds like it's got a really good atmosphere.
Okay, let's go for that one. Before you hear the rest of the conversation,
Guys, pay attention to the nouns as well. Now I'm going to give you some time to type your answers, and then I would like to discuss it with you all. So I'm waiting for the answers. If you can type it, would be great. If you could just share your answers with me, and then we can discuss it. So well done. Very good. Very good. So lovely. That's great. So now I would like to share the answers. So the first one is unfriendly. Unfriendly, it's fine if it's just in simple letters. Noisy, 2350. Guys, did you see they try to confuse you? 2350 and insects. Insects. So well done. I see that you all have typed your answers. Some of you all, I would like to just give a comment there, but well done. Very good. Very good. And number 5, bathrooms. You see, the bathrooms are. Now, if we write bathroom, it's going to be a mistake. Here it should be plural. Bathrooms, party, not parties, because a party every night. A party every night. Well done, guys. Very good. Lovely. So we are on our way to get all the answers correct, right? So let's move on to questions 7 to 10. Write one word only for each answer. Address on lane. General information about hostel accommodation. Sheets are provided. Okay, sheets are provided. Number 9 is included. Can hire a shared what is available. So a shared something, noun. Can hire a singular noun is missing, is included, something is included. So pay attention to that, guys. Address on, and maybe here when they mention the address, they might spell it for you. Be attentive to that as well, because that's going to be important. Fine, so here we go. I'm going to play the audio now.
You will have some time to look at the questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Did you get the address of Kangaroo Lodge?
Yes, it's on Shadforth Lane.
Can you spell that?
Shadforth. It's near the transit centre where the intercity buses and the airport buses drop you off.
Cool. I'm really looking forward to this. I've never stayed in a hostel before. Do they provide bed linen, sheets and things?
Yeah. And you can usually either bring your own towel or hire one there, but they don't usually provide those for free.
Okay. And what happens about meals?
Well, you don't have to pay extra for breakfast. It varies a lot in different places, but generally it's okay. And there's usually a cafe where you can buy a snack or a hot meal for lunch. But actually, if you're really travelling on the cheap, usually for every 5 or 6 rooms, there's a kitchen where you can knock up a snack, and that saves a lot of money.
Great. Right. Well, shall I go ahead and book that?
That is the end of section 1.
So
You
that,
now have half a minute to check your answers.
you see, so that's the end of section 1. Would like to see your answers. So waiting for your answers, would like to see your answers. Well done. Well done, very good. So Shadforth, right? So Shadforth, well done, very good spellings. Well, guys, lovely. Number 8, you guys kind of got it a bit high. Can hire a towel, not a bus, but that actually you guys kind of, got a bit confused, but it's fine. But if you got it right, that's great. But towel, TOWEL, breakfast is included, and a shared kitchen is available. A shared kitchen is available. Yes. So can hire a towel. They don't provide, you can rent it out. So rent, another word is hire. So they say that. Those who got it wrong, let me just kind of, share it, right? Because it's okay. We are here to learn.
Yes, it's on Shadforth Lane.
Can you spell that?
SHADFORTH. It's near the transit centre where the intercity buses and the airport buses drop you off.
Cool. I'm really looking forward to this. I've never stayed in a hostel before. Do they provide bed linen, sheets and things?
Yeah. And you can usually either bring your own towel or hire one there.
You see, usually you can bring your own towel or hire one there, So, guys, It's not like, so the correct answer is towel. The correct answer is towel, but well done. So those who made only one mistake, wow, that's great, not bad. Those who made 2 or 3 mistakes, fine, don't get discouraged. But if you didn't make a single mistake, you're on your way to achieve a band 9. So that's a good start. So now I'm pretty sure with the second stage, you guys are becoming more and more familiar with the types of questions, with the sections. So very soon, our management or our consultants will contact you, will encourage you to register for the exam. And once you register, you will have a kind of a Q&A session with me or with one of our experts where we will discuss further, like how you should prepare, what should be the approach. But now, guys, since you have entered stage 2, it's very important. It's very important that you register for the exam, and it's important to be done with this, because I guess with the stage 2, if you're performing well, you should feel more confident. Fine. Now let's move on to part 2, or let's call it as section 2, because in the past, it used to be called sections in listening. Then in 2019, or I guess it was in 2020, they made some changes, and now we call them as parts. But doesn't matter, guys. I don't understand the logic there, but it's fine. Okay. So part 2, questions 11 to 16. Choose the correct letter A, B, C, or D. It's about the Anglia Sculpture Park. Anglia Sculpture Park. Now, with multiple choice questions, when it comes to listening, you first read the question. Look, number 11, it says, the land where the sculpture park is located, was previously completely covered by forest, the site of a private house, occupied by a factory. Look at number 12. What is unusual about the Anglia Sculpture Park? Artists have made sculptures specially for it. Some of its sculptures were donated by the artist. It only shows contemporary sculptures. Look at number 13. What is the theme of Joe Tremaine's burned sculptures? Look, theme of Joe Tremaine's burned sculptures. The contrast between nature and urban life, the effect of man on the environment, the violence of nature. Number 14, the path by the lower lake is rather wet in some places, has recently been repaired, is difficult to walk on. Look at number 15. What does the speaker say about the visitor center? It is being enlarged at present. It has received an international award. It was designed by a Canadian architect. Look at number 16. Today, visitors can buy snacks and sandwiches at the kiosk, in the terrace room, at the Lower Lake Cafe. So pay attention to all those keywords. Today, visitors can buy. 15, what does speaker say about visitor center? What does he say? Or what does she say? So pay attention to those points, guys. I'm pretty sure it will be clear. Now, for this part, I'm going to first play the audio file. You will listen, write down your answers, then type it and share with me. And then again, I'm going to play the audio file to show you why the answers, which I would share, the correct answers are the correct ones. Okay, so here we go.
Recording 64. You will hear a guide at an outdoor sculpture park talking to a group of visitors. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Anglia Sculpture Park. Right, well, the idea behind the Sculpture Park is that it's a place where works of art, such as large sculptures and carvings, can be displayed out of doors in a natural setting. As you'll have noticed when you drove here, most of the land around the park is farmland. The park itself belonged to a family called the De Quinces, who had made a lot of money from manufacturing farm machinery and who also owned substantial stretches of forest land to the north of the park. They built a house in the center of the park, not far from where we're standing now. but this burnt down in 1980, and the De Quinces then sold the land. The Anglia Sculpture Park isn't the only one in the country. Several of the London parks sometimes display contemporary sculptures, and there are a couple of other permanent sculpture parks in England. But we're unique in that some of our sculptures were actually created for the sites they occupy here. And we also show sculptures by a wider range of artists than anywhere else in the country. For example, at present, we have an exhibition by Joe Tremaine of what he calls burnt sculptures. These are wood and stone sculptures that he's carved and marked with fire to illustrate the ferocity and intensity of the forces that have shaped our planet over millions of years. They look really dramatic in this rural setting. To see some of the sculptures, you'll need to follow the path alongside the lower lake. We had to renovate this after the lake overflowed its banks a couple of months ago and flooded the area. The water level's back to normal now, and you shouldn't have any trouble. The path's very level underfoot. You should be back at the visitor centre at about 4 o'clock. If you have time, it's worth taking a look at the centre itself. It's not possible to go upstairs at present, as builders are working there adding another floor, but the rest's well worth seeing. The architect was Guy King. He was actually born in this part of England, but he recently designed a museum in Canada that won a prize for innovation in public buildings. If you want to get something to eat when you get back, like a snack or a sandwich, the terrace room is currently closed, but you can go to the kiosk and buy something, then sit on one of the chairs overlooking the lower lake and enjoy the view as you're eating.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation.
Now, if you had read the questions properly, it wouldn't be challenging. And it wouldn't have been challenging. But if you hadn't, then it will be. So guys, can you share your answers? So well done, very good. So here are the answers. So it's 11 is actually, it's B, and I'll share why, I'll explain to you all. 12 is A, 13 is C, 14 is actually B, 15 is A, and 16 is A. Okay, so B, A, C, and again, it's BAA. So some of y'all, you got it right. Some of y'all, you didn't, but it's fine. So, let's try to listen and try to understand why. Now, pay attention to the question, guys. Now, the land where the sculpture park, the land where the sculpture park is located was previously. So let's pay attention to that now.
Now listen and answer questions 17 to 20.
Now, let me just tell you a bit about what you can see in the sculpture park. If you look at your map, you'll see the visitor centre, where we are now, at the bottom, just by the entrance. Since we only have an hour, you might not be able to get right around the park, but you can choose to visit some of the highlights.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm playing the wrong one. I was wondering why. Okay, here we go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Anglia Sculpture Park. Right, well, the idea behind the Sculpture Park is that it's a place where works of art, such as large sculptures and carvings, can be displayed out of doors in a natural setting. As you'll have noticed when you drove here, most of the land around the park is farmland. The park itself belonged to a family called the De Quinces, who had made a lot of money from manufacturing farm machinery and who also owned substantial stretches of forest land to the north of the park. They built a house in the center of the park, not far from where we're standing now. But this burnt down in 1980, and the De Quinces then sold the land.
So guys, you see, the land where the sculpture park is located was previously, it's B, the site of a private house. It was not completely covered by the forest, only the northern part, occupied by a factory. No, the De Quinces, the family, was involved in industry. So they had factories, but not in the land where the sculpture park is now, right? So two different things. Look at number 12. What is unusual about the Anglia Sculpture Park? Let's pay attention to that.
The Anglia Sculpture Park isn't the only one in the country. Several of the London parks sometimes display contemporary sculptures, and there are a couple of other permanent sculpture parks in England. But we're unique in that some of our sculptures were actually created for the sites they occupy here. And we also show sculptures by...
So some of the sculptures are created to occupy the place where it is, right? So artists have made sculptures specially for it, for the sculpture park itself. So that's why it is unique, because there are many other sculpture parks, right? So it's not the only sculpture park, but here they're special because they have certain sculptures which are related to that sculpture park itself.
Wider range of artists than anywhere else in the country. For example, at present, we have an exhibition by Joe Tremaine of what he calls burnt sculptures. These are wood and stone sculptures that he's carved and marked with fire to illustrate the ferocity and intensity of the forces that have shaped our planet over millions of years. They look really dramatic in this rural setting.
You see, ferocity and intensity. So that's why it's the violence of nature, the violence of nature.
To see some of the sculptures, you'll need to follow the path alongside the lower lake. We had to renovate this after the lake overflowed its banks a couple of months ago and flooded the area. The water level's back to normal now, and you shouldn't have any trouble. The path's very level underfoot. You should be back at the visitor center at about 4 o'clock.
So it's agreed that it's going under renovations, has recently been repaired. Look.
Underfoot. You should be back at the visitor center at about 4 o'clock. If you have time, it's worth taking a look at the center itself. It's not possible to go upstairs at present, as builders are working there adding another floor.
Builders are working there adding another floor. That means it is being enlarged at present. It is being expanded. It is being enlarged at present.
But the rest's well worth seeing. The architect was Guy King. He was actually born in this part of England, but he recently designed a museum in Canada that won a prize for innovation in public buildings. If you want to get something to eat when you get back, like a snack or a sandwich, the terrace room is currently closed, but you can go to the kiosk and buy something, then sit on one of the chairs overlooking the lower lake and enjoy the view as you're eating.
Before you hear the rest of the
So guys, basically, that's it. So you have to pay attention to keywords. And if you do that, I'm pretty sure, you'll be able to stay more focused. So it's fine if you made mistakes. It's perfectly okay, because we should learn from our mistakes. I see that some of y'all did make some mistakes, but of course, at the exam, we have to minimize them. We need to be pretty accurate when we deal with such types of questions. Fine. So basically, guys, I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to end our session. In case you guys have questions, you can type, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. But do you have questions, guys? So remember, stage 2 is a time where you need to attend all these live sessions where we focus more on practice tasks with your respective teacher who will be conducting the writing session. They will show you how to write essays for stage 2. So they'll be starting with reason solution essays, problem solutions. They're the same: discussion, opinion, 2-question essays. And after that, they will also kind of show you how to write letters if you're taking general IELTS, or how to describe graphs, bar charts, pie charts, and so on. So there's a lot to learn, but it's not a long way to go. So now you guys need to really think about when to register for the exam, and also kind of keep working on that, because that would give you a target to work towards. And I believe personally that is going to make the overall preparation even more effective. So guys, once again, that's it for today. Have a great evening. I want to say goodbye to you all. Let's stay in touch then. Goodbye, guys. Take care.